And you need a project name. It does not like blank named projects for some reason. Don't really know. Actually, I do this because it would be a nightmare if I manage the files but nothing had a name. Alright, and we create a new project in Workspace. And we use Android 4.0.3. Next. Here you do, they prefer you to use a name.name convention. I'm mostly for keeping things separate and keeping, kind of a file structure idea and unique names. So it doesn't like it until you've done something like that. And it's going to create an activity. This is what it calls kind of an idea for your app or for an application is an activity. And go over here and finish. And it's going to create a project with several files for you, actually. You're going to have several folders over here. We're going to start off in the source folder with our Java file. Alright, is everybody hearing this? Except Dr. White?
Yeah.
Levi, you here?
Yes.
Alright. Did we lose Tim? He just become disinterested because he's done this.
I think he's done this a while.
Yeah. Alright.
I wonder what he'd like to talk about next time.
Alright.
Opening the doors here.
Yeah. You were just scooping under.
Let's try.
Okay. We're just going to be doing a very simple user interface text message hello world kind of program. Yeah. So here underneath the imports, we're going to import a text view widget.
Client part imports.
Don't get your semicolons. This is going to allow us to actually do our writing the text to the screen, or creating an object to have text that is displayed. Everybody in? Good. Continue. All right. After the super on create, going to insert a new text view object called TV for text view. Then we're going to set the text to the famous first computer program words that everyone should know. Hello world. Their project likes to use hello Android, but like to stay with the classics. Right. And then down here in the set content view, we're going to set that to our new text view object, so that our content view is the text view object that we just created. Alright. We're going to save it and come up here and run the project. up your emulator. And that's going to take a second to load up. It doesn't give the emulator a very fast, or the emulator doesn't have a very fast virtual processor, and it takes it a while to load.
Glad that they changed this, because before we had to go in and find the path for Java and the home, we had to find Java and Java underscore home, and we had a lot of problems with it was in program files that had a space in there, so we had to use a tilde to simplify it.
It was actually in the program space file is x86, so it's scaling, that's fine.
We had a lot of, we had to go in and do a lot more under the hood. And I'm glad not doing that now, but I'm just saying, before that's how we did it. We had to go in and,
Was that just because the program was incomplete?
the emulator wouldn't work. Like, it wouldn't load.
The emulator was a separate program.
Right. It would be open by Eclipse, but it wouldn't,
This is actually a separate program that Eclipse just has the rights to.
Right, but I mean, like, before it was like, they didn't communicate well at all, it felt like.
Yeah, we got a battery life time getting there. It takes a good bit to run. Don't close this after you've seen your project. Just kind of minimize it, because it'll take it this long to reload for a second run. Actually, recognize that the mouse has the touch. I'm not going to bring it up automatically. You need to go to if you're on this screen, you go down here to the little, I don't know if everyone has used a smartphone before. I didn't, I had to kind of, I don't have a smartphone, so I can have to just guess what button to push. And I guess the circle one with all the blocks. And you'll see your project sitting in here looks something like that. If you didn't see it, go back. It looks something like a little white box with a little Android man sticking in it. And nothing too fancy. It'll give you application name and then print the text to the screen. Hello world. Alright. Now we're going to go a little further. That wasn't all that great. So we're going to change the user interface just a little bit in the resources folder. We're going to go, it's just RES, going to go to the layout one and open up the main.xml. These resource folders is usually where Android stores a lot of its, just regular data like strings and its XML layouts that it can call from the Java program. And you want to, down here on the bottom, instead of graphical layout, you're going to get the actual XML file. All right, we're going to get rid of all of this and replace it with a text view set of XML. They typically in their tutorial have you just copy and paste the code from online, but it's not too bad, so we're just going to go ahead and type it in. Can everybody see that okay? Do I need to zoom in?
I can see it. I hope.
Thank you.
Is that APK?
Yes, it is. That's a weird K.
I'll be right back. I have a registrar problem.
Oh,
They think I haven't been going to class. I need to,
I've been putting down that you've been going.
no, to one of my English film class. So I need to go calm my mom down. She's freaking out. She thinks I'm gonna fail. You're right back.
And as you notice, as you're typing, the Eclipse is real nice and comes up with all these wonderful suggestions that are actually usually pretty close, if not exactly what you need.
Is this fairly standard XML stuff? I mean, I don't do a lot of webby stuff. This makes sense.
I've actually never used XML before this, so to be honest with you, I'm not sure. I mean, this is all their stuff is pretty standard across their applications. I do believe that they say in their XML that it's not done exactly standard XML, but it's for the tutorial for simplification for right now.
Okay.
And later on, I believe they get more standardized layouts. If you go to the, like a little further along in the tutorials, the next one about views does more with the XML and the layouts.
Why is it that with the flood point when you go to close my parentheses and add another one?
Eclipse thinks that you may forget about that, and so it does it automatically to be nice for you. Eclipse is kind of one of those wonderful friends who goes, oh, you might need something later. Here, let me go ahead and give it for you. Or, would you like one of these if you start typing something? It's really nice if you don't have a lot of stuff just memorized at the top of your head, or you tend to forget a lot of closing parentheses. I personally don't like the closing parentheses, closing quotes option, but the rest of it, as far as your method names and all that goes, is really a nice feature to have. Especially if you're just learning a new language, having it come up with, oh, you might want to capitalize that, or if you start typing the right thing, it says, here's all of what you could get, and which one do you want? Kind of nice to have. So go ahead and save that if you've gotten to here, and go back to the MUGTUG, and well, I want to point out something real quick. The Android text at string hello. This is actually a resource that the file, the Java file, can go out and get to use in its as like a variable, but not a variable, more like a constant in its program. And so we need to go back to the res folder in the values and open our strings.xml. And sorry, that was not, this is where I meant to go to tell you about that. And you're going to want to open the strings.xml down here. This is where your strings are stored. The other one's actually going to get the one named hello here. And you can go in and type anything you want here.